We start here this afternoon. The state-owned development finance institution, the IDC, has announced that approved funding to businesses and firms in the past financial year rose by 146%, but the release of the funds to small businesses remained depressed. Approvals of new funding went from 6.5 billion rands to 16 billion rands in the past financial year. The CEO for the Industrial Development Corporation of South Africa, TP Nchocho, joins us now. Mr. Nchocho, thank you very much for your time, sir, this afternoon. A difficult 2 years, a difficult period it's been for you according to these particular results, particularly because you don't depend on government for money or funding yourself or recapitalization, but you still pay the government dividends every year, if I may say that. How do you characterize the past 2 years for you and the many businesses that you support?
Thank you very much, Kolani. Yes, the past 2 years, 2020 really was a year of devastation. You may recall that there were complications with key of our investments which lost value, such as Sasol in the early part of 2020. We had to take additional impairments in 2020 when COVID hit, and so we ended up trading at a loss for that particular financial year. But then the year that followed, 2021, was a year of recovery really, and relaunching the organization in a strong way. So in as much as the economy was difficult over the past year that we are reporting on, as well as the riots that took place in KZN and Gauteng around July last year. But we did manage indeed to continue to lend and approve the kind of volumes of funding that we have referred to, in excess of approximately 16 billion rand, and indeed supporting numerous businesses and enterprises across all sectors of the economy really, from energy to infrastructure, to mining, water infrastructure, telecoms, pharmaceutical companies and chemical companies. So yes, it has been a promising year this past year, and we hope to build on that.
The IDC used to release or disperse more than 10 billion rand a year prior to COVID-19 to support the economy and businesses. But COVID-19 clearly battered many institutions, including the IDC. How do you plan to ramp up disbursements? Because approved funding doesn't mean the money is in the hands of the businesses that need it. Because right now you have actually disbursed 7.2 billion rands, of that 16 billion rands, according to your results.
That's a correct observation. The important thing that hopefully you and your viewers will also appreciate is that many of the large transactions who in value a single transaction is in the region of 1 billion, 1.5 billion, and so on. Many of them are projects that are implemented over several months. So they tend to draw money either on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis over an 18 months or a 24 months period, depending on the construction cycle of the project. So on a cumulative basis, as we go into this current financial year and into the new financial year, we are happy with the lift off. The disbursements will follow a similar pattern, as I say, because they follow the construction and implementation profile of the projects. So we are confident. The pipeline has been approved. The transactions are on our books. We are closing them off and registering the requisite paper work in order to close the transaction and achieve financial close. We are already building momentum into this new financial year with approvals already, I can mention to you, sitting in excess of 10 billion rand already for the current financial year, over and above that 16 billion of last year. So the carry through will and is already happening, and we will see the ramp up in actual outflows in the months ahead.
Mr. Nchocho, there are so many entrepreneurs in South Africa and businesses that have approached development finance institutions like yourselves in order to get funding, and they are watching you right now wondering why they were turned down. There are different reasons, of course, but what are the main reasons, in your view, as the CEO, that people, what mistakes do they commit when they actually approach the IDC for funding and they are turned down? And while you're answering that question, I wanted to also ask what exactly you are looking to actually fund the most as you are moving into green energy in the next couple of years.
Thank you very much. Yes, there are applications indeed that come through to the IDC, and at times we do not fund projects. So two of the things that often hamper the possibility of accessing financing. One, very often the business case, the business plan, an investable proposition which has not been adequately packaged, because for us to be able to consider a request, we need to work from a written up business proposal that we can apply our minds to and then go and visit the project or the business physically in order to conduct our due diligence. So very often clients fall short in terms of their preparation of their business cases. The second instance, which is a little bit more difficult, is particularly over the past 2.5 years, has been businesses that approach us, but really, as a consequence of COVID, many of them are flat and really struggling to claw back their commercial market position. So a business which really on an honest basis has been so severely and adversely affected, advancing more money to such a business would simply be destroying it even further. So one has to be very careful and face the reality at times. So with regards to the green agenda going forward, this is a significant high priority area of emphasis for the IDC. I mean, one, in the form of generation projects where renewable energy, either through wind or solar systems, are coming on stream, both promoted by government under the IPP program or independent generation through self-generation. The second pathway is around storage systems. We know that technologies are advancing, and in order to support base load, there are a number of projects that we are looking at and are already investing in the early stages of these projects in order to facilitate the creation of battery storage businesses. In the third instance, working in the hydrogen economy, the IDC is a lead player. There's a project in Buchubai. There's a project in Priska, which people might have seen in the papers. There's a project that we are working on in Sasolburg. All of them are hydrogen projects. Electric vehicles is one area in which we are working. The other area in which we are working is, and it is a massive area of great potential going forward, moving from oil-fired engines to cars that are either electric vehicles or hybrids and so on and so on. So there's a whole adaptation that the automotive industry in South Africa has to follow. So these are some of the pathways in this green economy space that we are pursuing at the moment.
Let's talk about operational issues now. It's been reported, rather, that there is a threat of industrial action or strikes by your employees over salaries and benefits. How are you handling that? Because the last we heard, the matter of salaries and increases from employees who say they need some financial support from the IDC, the matter was with the CCMA.
Yes, it has been reported, and it is a fact. The way we are engaging on this is that we do have a recognized union. There is a bargaining forum that is established under a recognition agreement with the union. There are two issues to the matter. The one issue is a general salary increase. And I think we did send out a communique to our staff members. We have chosen not to play it out in the media, but rather communicate with our staff members on the salary increase, showing them demonstrably that at the very minimum, the IDC is offering an inflation level type adjustments for categories of employees that are on the managerial and professional levels. And we're offering inflation plus, ranging from around 7% to 9% in certain instances for categories in the lower bands of the pay scale. So that is the salary increases. Then the other element, which is around benefits, call it bonuses, if you like. We are engaging with our staff members. There is a bonus pool that has been approved by the board 2 weeks ago, and we are working through the distribution mechanism in that regard. So the engagements go on. We believe we have offered decent, more than decent general salary increases, and indeed there is a bonus consideration which is on the table at the moment.
Mr. TP Nchocho is the CEO at the Industrial Development Corporation. Sir, thank you very much for your time. A good set of results for the past financial year indeed. Coming up